आज से 2300 साल पहले एक इंसान ने 200 किताबें लिखी पॉलिटिक्स के ऊपर, एथिक्स के ऊपर, फिजिक्स के ऊपर, लॉजिक के ऊपर, और बाद में वो लॉजिक के गुरु बने। उनका नाम है अरिस्टोटल। बहुत छोटी उम्र में उन्होंने माता पिता को खो दिया, बट उन्होंने 20 साल अपने गुरु के साथ बिताए, प्लेटो के साथ, और 5 साल मेंटरशिप की, पढ़ाया किसको? सिकंदर को, अलेक्जेंडर द ग्रेट, हु बिकेम द ग्रेटेस्ट कॉन्करर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। उनके लाइफ के क्या रूल्स थे वो देखते हैं। पहला रूल, लिव विद द पर्पस। लाइफ का पर्पस होना चाहिए, पॉजिटिव पर्पस होना चाहिए। वो पर्पस कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टूवर्ड द सोसाइटी, enhancing your thought, your skills. Second one, control your mind. Mind should be balanced one. You should not be overwhelmed with anything. Neither you should go for things which makes you depressed. You have to have a balance of mind. Very important for a good and happy life. Third, अच्छी हैबिट सीखो जो लाइफ में आपको खुशी दे और आसपास लोगों को खुशी दे, जो सोसाइटी में आप कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकें। नेक्स्ट होना क्या? कंटिन्यूस प्रोसेस ऑफ लर्निंग है। उनकी 200 किताबें में से हमें सिर्फ 31 मिली हैं, और आज भी हम 31 में से सीख रहे हैं कि क्या उन्होंने सिखाया हमें, क्या उन्होंने ह्यूमन रेस में वैल्यू ऐड की। नेक्स्ट उन्होंने क्या? प्रैक्टिस मॉडरेशन। एक्सट्रीम ना बनो, मॉडरेट लाइफ बताओ, एक सिंपल लाइफ बताओ, उसमें से ही खुशी ढूंढो। प्लस उन्होंने कहा सराउंडेड बाय राइट पीपल, जो लोग ठीक सोच रखते हैं, पॉजिटिव सोच रखते हैं, ग्रोथ माइंडसेट वाले हैं, उनके आसपास बैठो, उनको मित्र बनाओ, दोस्त बनाओ। एंड नेक्स्ट पॉइंट था बी पेशेंट। हर चीज में टाइम लगता है, नेचर भी हर चीज में टाइम लेती है, आपने कभी भी इम्पेशेंट नहीं होना। दीज आर द वेरी बेसिक रूल्स ऑफ लाइफ which made this man known as Aristotle as one of the greatest thinkers, philosopher, and he is also called as the guru of logic, the father of logic. So that was a contribution of Aristotle. Aristotle, a great philosopher from Greece, who has influenced the world. He was a teacher of Alexander the Great. He taught Alexander the Great for 5 years on the invitations of Alexander's father. He taught him ethics, politics, warfare, diplomacy, logic, and so on. Who was teacher of Aristotle? Aristotle's teacher was Plato, a great philosopher. That was the reason that Aristotle studied in Plato's school and understood the philosophy of Plato. Who was Plato's teacher? Socrates. Socrates. And Socrates learned his knowledge, his philosophy, knowledge about life, politics, warfare, diplomacy, negotiations, ethics from the streets, from the people around him. He learned from the street. He said, I am a student of a common man. So that was the lineage. And of course, Moses, who was almost existed around 1100 BC, also influenced Socrates or Socrates. Let us go in detail about Aristotle. Greek. He studied in Plato Academy for 20 years and was mentored by whom? Aristotle was mentored by Plato. But he taught Alexander the Great for 5 years. As discussed, he founded a school, became school in Athens. And he used to teach while walking in the parks, on the roads, on the streets, on the sides of the hill, valleys, and so on. That is the reason that he was known as peripatetics. That means the people who walk and talk and learn and convey and do the philosophical learning of life, ethics, politics, warfare, logic, reasoning, decision making, and so on. He is known as a founder of logism, which comes even in competitive exam, part of reasoning. That was the reason that he is known as father of logics. He was a master of many subjects. He learned physics. He wrote so much on physics, biology, politics, ethics, poetry, metaphysics. Meta means beyond physics, beyond understanding of man, beyond the rationality, and called the first teacher. Ethics, eudaimonia. The goal of life is eudaimonia. That means flourishing, living well, living complete through virtue and reason, by virtue of deeds. And the second is that everything should be rational and reasonable. Next, golden mean. What is a golden mean? That is a middle between two extremes, courage and cowardness on one side, and cowardness and recklessness on the other side. That means there are two extremes. Courage is between cowardness and reckless. Famous work, politics, Nicomachean ethics, politics, metaphysics, organ. Influence, his ideas influenced the Western science, philosophy, politics for 2000 years. Not only the Christians, but his influence is also on Arabic world, Islamic world. Known as father of political science, father of logic. So that was a contribution of Aristotle. So these are the important points on this page, and the topic is Aristotle, which is a famous, or which was a famous personality, part of GK. Now we will move to the next. His famous work, there are so many. He wrote almost 200 works, 200 masterpieces, but only 31 are available. The rest are lost. Book name, Nicomachean Ethics. It is on the name of his son. He said, what is highest good for humans? And he gave the answer, eudaimonia, flourishing, living well, and happiness through virtue. Three things. Flourishing means growing positively. You flourish when you live well, and then you become happy by your virtues. And then virtue is a habit. You become good by doing good again and again. Doing goodness is not one time. You have to be good every time. With yourself, with the people around you, even with nature, with everyone. Next is golden mean. Again, I've told you, between the two extremes, courage is between the cowardness and recklessness. What is between stinginess and wastefulness is generosity. Courage is between these two, and generosity is between stinginess and wastefulness. You need to have a balance in the life. Like, humans should use reason to choose the right action. There should be reasoning, logic behind everything. Building moral character. Types of life. What type of life you should have? Or what type of life normally have? People have. Society have. One is a life of pleasure. Few people live in pleasure only. Whatever they get, from where they get the pleasure, they live that life. Second life is life of politics and honor. That I want power, I want money, I want honor, I should be respected, and so on. And third is life of contemplation. That means the highest life, seeking truth through reason. He said this is the highest life. So these are three types of life. One is life of contemplation, second is life of politics, and life of pleasure. What type of life you want to have. Then impact the Western ethics, law, leadership, philosophy, logic, reasoning, negotiation, diplomacy, decision making. Western world gives the credit to the Greek philosophers. So what we do in the West or in the world, some credit or good credit Good amount of credit goes to the philosophers like Aristotle, and then Plato, then Socrates, and other contemporary people of that age, including Buddha, Confucius, Taoism, and so on. So now we will move to the next personality, and we just discussed Aristotle, who was a teacher of Alexander, and Aristotle teacher was Plato, and Plato teacher was Socrates, and Socrates learned from a common man, from the real world, from the real life, and so on.